Hi, this is Ian Wright, and this is part 2 of Meditations for Chronic Pain. So in part 1, we were looking at the processes of accepting that we have pain, allowing the pain as much as we can, and observing, learning to change our shifting to observing the pain so it doesn't become us. We are not the pain. Very hard to do, but takes practice. But you also have to bring in some other things, I think, because that is not enough by itself. And we need to keep moving our attentional awareness in different places to find a little window of quiet where things can feel a little better just even for a bit of time. Second part today is about breath. And so we're going to use our breath in about 3 or 4 different ways to try and ameliorate this constant nagging feeling of pain. So the first thing, very simple, we're going to do is use our breath to try and release the pain, okay? So when we breathe in, I breathe in softness. And when I breathe out, I release the pain. Breathe in softness to the area, breathe out the pain. And as you breathe out, allow your body to feel like it's softening, letting go, relaxing, remembering that this pain is specific areas of our brain that have become overstimulated. So as we breathe in calmness, sweetness, softness. And as we breathe out, we release. And each out breath, which is slightly longer than the in breath, will stimulate part of our nervous system called the parasympathetic, which takes our body away from this kind of stress response to the pain. It's a calming thing. It can just drop our blood pressure down a little bit back to normal, quiet down our pulse a little bit, give a feeling a little bit more of peace and serenity and calm within that. So we breathe in softness, and we breathe out, breathing out the pain. Releasing, letting go, quietening and dropping. And as we drop towards a quieter, slightly more comfortable place. Part 2 of that is tuning in from here to something that feels soft and quiet in our breathing. So as we breathe in, we tune into softness, sweetness, something delicate in our breathing, and we relax, breathing out, relaxing, releasing. And as things quieten down, and our brain quietens down, what actually tends to happen first of all in this situation is the nagging comes back as things tend to quieten a little bit. It's like it's a voice that wants to be heard. Practice what we did last time. Accept that we'll have that, allow it fully, and observe it. Bring your awareness back to the softness in your breath and the quietness. And if you can, as you breathe out, releasing, quietening, have a sense that as you breathe out, that your out breath meets this quiet place which is all around you, this stillness around you. So you breathe out, it goes into the stillness that's already around us. We're constantly surrounded by stillness, and stillness, if we tune into the stillness outside us and use our senses to feel that feeling of ever-present stillness, it can help our inner bodies that are full of turmoil at the moment to find a little bit of peace, a little quiet. So our out-breath meets the stillness, and from the stillness, which extends all the way to the horizon, comes our in-breath, which is peaceful and quiet and softening. And our out-breath softens quietly and meets that stillness. Now, sometimes when the pain is too much, that's a very hard thing. And there's another thing we can do with breath, which is the absolute opposite of it. And it's challenging, and it can be challenging, and only do this if you're feeling brave. And this practice is called Tonglen, and it comes from Tibetan Buddhism. I was taught it by a friend 20 years ago, and I find it a fascinating practice for a number of reasons. I'll tell you what it is, and then I'll explain why. In Tonglen, what you do is on your in-breath, you breathe in all the suffering in the world. And on your out-breath, you release it. You breathe out peace. So in breathing in suffering, breathing out peace. So you're breathing in all the suffering of the world. Now, if you think about that as a technique, that's overwhelming. The idea of breathing in all the suffering of the world, you have to be feeling in a pretty tough mood to do so. And it's frightening almost. The idea of it's kind of frightening. The interesting thing though, is if you're brave enough to try that, it is transformative. And the reason why is you immediately are faced with the fact that all of the suffering that you breathe in is actually your own suffering. And when you breathe out peace, you're turning that into peace. And it gives you this incredible sense that actually you and the world are one thing. Everything is one, because all of that suffering is your own, and you transform your own suffering first through it. And it's an incredible kind of perceptive trick that the Tibetans were very good at. Anyway, I find if you're finding it too difficult to do the first part of the techniques, and you're feeling radical, swap it, which is breathing in all the suffering of the world and breathing out peace. And just try that for a few breaths and see how it can shift your perception. It's a fascinating idea. So the third part, or the final part, is actually breathing in this softness to the area of the pain. So when you breathe in soft sweetness to the bit that's sore. Meet it. It's like a honey trickling in to the red hot daggers. So you breathe in this sweet, cool softness, and you breathe out the pain. Okay, so this is linked up with the first part. This is not the Tonglen. That was just a little aside for you. Breathe into the area of pain and meet in your breath something in that pain that feels okay. There's some part within that whole red hot, white hot, whatever type of pain it feels, there's something in that is soft. And breathe in all that sweet honey from the outside, and direct your attention to that point. Is it your back or your head or wherever, it doesn't matter. And breathe that sweetness to that point and allow it to soften, and breathe out. Now these are all kind of perceptual tricks, and I'm going to build on them in the next sensory technique that we'll do in part 3 of this and part 4. But remember that do what works. Practice allowing, accepting, observing. Practice breathing in softness. Practice breathing in pain in Tonglen if that suits you better. Whatever feels right in the moment, tune your awareness back to the softness in the breath. Or breathe specifically into that point. Or breathe in the whole of the pain and release it. The point is just to allow your brain to be free, to find a technique which gives you a little window of calm, a little window of softness, a little window of quietness that will help you. We'll build on this. I wish you well.